We already know about the Russian hacks of the Democratic National Committee and how those hacks were used to handpick certain leaks and attempt to tilt the election in Donald Trump's favor. Virginia Senator Mark Warner, the highest ranking Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee, who's investigating Russian meddling in the election, says that the Russian government hired 1,000 people to create fake news articles to help Donald Trump. Russia had these people working in a facility in Russia, creating fake anti-Hillary news articles targeting voters in swing states. And at a press conference on Thursday, Warner actually said, quote, "They were in effect taking over a series of computers, which are then called botnets, that can then generate news down to specific areas. Clinton is sick, or Clinton is taking money from whoever, from some source, fake news. An outside foreign adversary effectively sought to hijack the most critical democratic process, the election of a president, and in that process decided to favor one candidate over another. Warner said that 3 states we know were affected are Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. What's interesting about those states? Oh, right, Donald Trump won all 3 of those states in unexpected and very narrow upsets. Warner and the committee's chair, Republican Senator Richard Burr, were adamant that these conclusions are the consensus of the committee. This is Democrats and Republicans, folks. Not the most shocking discovery. We already knew that Russia was interfering with the election to help Trump, and more or less that Russia was using fake news and troll armies to accomplish this, and that they've done it before in other countries. But it's notable that the committee is saying, hey, we have solid evidence for this. Republicans and Democrats on the committee agree that this is what's going on, and they're going public about it. And we are going to be digging into fake news and propaganda news extensively. We've got an upcoming long form piece that's going to air next week, Pat. I know you're excited about it. I'm excited about it. And it's going to deal with not only fake news presently, but the history of fake news, the difference between fake news and propaganda news. And I think it's going to be a really, really good piece.
Yeah, especially because now we know that fake news clearly works. I mean, it was able to influence an election. We know for sure at this point, there's certainly no evidence to suggest that Russia hacked the voting machines, for example.
Correct.
But by spreading information, some true and some not true, that was able to do it because, you know, what we learned from the Podesta leaks, for example, you could argue that was important revelations that Hillary Clinton holds a private position and a public position, that
Sure.
she was for open trade borders and the rest of it. But there's no merits to seeing this fake news thing. I mean, there's no positives to that.
No, there's absolutely no angle on this where we say, well, it's good to hear fake stories perpetrated by Russian trolls in swing states, right? There's no counter to that. There's no conversation about the source nor the substance here because both are completely bogus. And 20 people are going to appear before this committee for private interviews. This includes Trump's son-in-law and close advisor, Jared Kushner. Burr also indirectly suggested that the committee has spoken to Michael Flynn, who, of course, was ousted from the administration after lying about his communications with Russia. So there's a lot going on here, not the least of which is surprising so far. But when we see Democrats and Republicans united saying, yeah, Russia had huge troll armies spreading fake news in swing states, there's not even really anybody who's questioning it. I guess Trump would.
There are still some people who are unwilling to admit that Russia hacked the DNC, though, even though our intelligence community is universally saying it was the Russians.
There's 2 views on trolling that I've talked about, first of all. One is, and it doesn't really apply to state-sanctioned trolling. There's trolls are sort of sad people whose lives clearly must not be going well if they're spending their time trolling online. But they can still cause chaos and prevent reasonable conversation from happening, and that can be the goal of trolls. And even if they are sad people individually, some are, some aren't, some are paid trolls, as you know, the effect is still significant. This is a totally different type of trolling. This is state-sanctioned trolling done in a mass way. And it is something that we are clearly contending with. It is something that clearly Republicans and Democrats on that Senate panel now understand happened. And, you know, the Trumpists, they'll figure out some way to rationalize this away or not pay attention to it. Today's episode of The David Pakman Show is made possible in part by Warby Parker eyeglasses. Warby Parker recently did the right thing and ditched advertising on right-wing conspiracy website Breitbart, pulling their ads off. And you can get the free 5-day home try-on from Warby Parker. Check out their glasses. I use them when I'm not wearing contact lenses. I started with the free at-home trial. They send you 5 pairs of glasses. You see which ones you like. You send them back, and whichever one you pick, they will put your prescription into. I like this because I can actually show the glasses to other people and not have to just decide on the spot like in an eyeglass store. The eyeglass industry is controlled by very few corporations that keep the prices very, very high, even over $300 for prescription glasses. With Warby Parker, they start at just 95 bucks. Mine costs that, including lenses. And for every pair sold, they give a pair to someone in need. So to try the 5 pairs and support the David Pakman Show, go to warbyparkertrial.com/TDPS.